Jose Mourinho is officially the most decorated manager when it comes to European football. He has won each and every European title that there is to win. That and much more we shall be discussing on the Sports Dish today. Clive Chaza is my name. The Sports Dish comes your way every Monday to Friday, and we discuss nothing but what is happening in the world of sports. And guess what? This show is a little bit different because you can't be a part of it. Yes, the hashtag at the bottom of your screen can be used to get to us. The number also on the bottom of your screen is our WhatsApp number, and I have the phone here with me, so you can be part of the show. You can send in your messages, you can send in your questions, you can send in your comments, and trust me, we shall react to them. I'm not alone in the studio. I am in good company of Mr. Shaban Rubega Benteke Chirevu.
I was just reading something. I don't know if it's
Breaking
confirmed.
news?
Yeah, sort of. It is alleged that Arua Hill, each player and the technical team have received a plot of land.
That is old news. It is not breaking news.
It is not.
Okay, maybe if they have received, but earlier on, the proprietor Joel Aita confirmed that each player, about I think 2 or 3 days ago, each player and coach was to receive a plot of land.
There's a copy of it.
So the breaking news would be they have received.
Probably they have, but it's something I've just picked up on. But good afternoon, Clive, and good afternoon, everyone watching us. I think if it is happening for real and they indeed receive them, that would be a precedent that I don't think so many clubs would manage to achieve.
Where 10 players would visit one plot of land and they told them, if you signed for that land is yours. So in one season, 10 players would sign, but every player knows I have a plot of land. Yet it was only one piece of land for everyone.
So who gets it in the end?
No one. Of course, just a little bit of it. Emanzi Njamhachi will still be joining us all the way from Kelibia, Tunisia, as it tries to weigh in on the different views here and there. We are going to discuss a lot of football, but of course centering around the Uganda Cranes. But we also have a bit of volleyball. We have a bit of the BAL, the Basketball Africa League, your European sports. Of course, the Europa Conference League was done yesterday. Mohamed Salah has finally spoken out about his future. Sadio Mane has spoken out about his future. Jurgen Klopp has given a hint going into that Champions League final over the weekend. But also the NBA, yes, the East and the West, the games are getting interesting. But getting us underway is a man that all of you were yearning for yesterday. Everyone was asking for his picture. Everyone wanted to see how he looks. And guess what? He gave an interview after his first training session yesterday. This is none other than
Luknyomoi.
Luknyomoi, yes, currently training with the Uganda Cranes. These were his views after his first training session with the rest of the team yesterday.
It's a dream come true, really. It's an amazing feeling. I can't imagine how proud my family are of me currently right now. I'm representing my home country, the country which I feel that represents me the most. The temperature, because in England it's a lot colder, but yeah, the training session's intense. We're doing leg workouts, we're training, positioning, and everything. It's intense, but I can see why it's such a high standard to come to the national team because of how amazing all the other players are and the coach as well. I reckon the thing which I bring is flair. It's my reactions and my ability to read other players and to be able to exploit their weaknesses to get past the player or to notice how a goalkeeper is positioned and score goals against them. My strength and my pace, I feel, are my main attributes. But yeah, that's what I would say. The decision wasn't very hard. When I found out there was an opportunity, it was an instant yes. I knew this is what I wanted to do. Since I was a kid, if you ask my parents and my family, ever since I was probably 4 years old, I was kicking a football saying I want to represent my country.
Well, Luknyomoi is there trying to reveal how the decision wasn't very hard for him, much as he has a Nigerian father and a Ugandan mother, but he thought that representing Uganda, probably the country that has been closer to him, was more ideal. I love that bit where he talks about his attributes and what he brings on the table.
And he mentions the fact that he looks at the opponents he's going to face and then forge a way on how to get past them. But I don't know how much knowledge he knows about the opponents he's probably going to be facing in the African.
They have a coach who does enough research about the opponent.
Maybe the coach has enough research, but you fear for him because
he's just sharing his general attributes as a footballer. He knows what makes him tick, what gives him the ability to probably go past.
And you think if he has such a mentality in the long run, he can be able to thrive in such a sense. But he's not someone I personally am putting pressure on at the moment, because when you look at where he has been playing and the level he's jumping onto, I think we shouldn't be putting any pressure on him.
We shouldn't be putting pressure on any player on the national team.
Some ought to have to be put under pressure to a certain extent, because they have been there for a while.
It's a young team in transition.
And that is what they say, but we all know clearly it doesn't. That is not what they exhibit on the pitch.
I was able to watch him today in the first training session, and you would say, because I wasn't able to watch him yesterday because of the rain, but also commitments. Today I've been able to watch him this morning, and you would say, yes, he does have the attributes of a good footballer. You would say that he has something that he can offer. Physically, yes, the speed he talks about, the strength, despite the fact that he's still young, 21 years of age. But you believe that probably even if he can't deliver now, but if he keeps in the national team setup and all that, is a player that in the long run will be a big asset for the national team.
I think, like you mentioned, he would be a big asset in the long run, because this is someone new to everything that he's getting into at the moment. And if we can somehow ensure that he's in the setup for a while, and him being, and looking at the fact that he has been playing in England, because we view England as a better place than Uganda is.
We don't view, it is.
Definitely, okay. It is a better place than Uganda at the moment, and you think that we would use his experience. The one bit that I like about him being a forward, because we are hungry for someone who can put away the goals, and if he can in the long run, then probably the transition we are in at the moment will produce fruits in the future.
We'll wait and see if the transition will yield fruits in the future. The national team is preparing for the upcoming 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. June 4th, Uganda will play against Algeria away from home. Then on June 8th, Uganda will play against Niger here at St. Mary's Stadium in Luknyomoi, and the host of other people are expected to be part of that engagement. But another player who joined the national team yesterday, he was part of the training session today, that's Ibra SseKajja, the striker, 29 years of age, and we did engage him after today's training session and asked him what took him so long to come and be part of the national team setup, but also what should Ugandans expect from him. It was quite a lengthy discussion, and this is how we responded to the different topics that rather questions the media asked him.
It's great. It's great to finally be here. I know it's been a long time coming, and I'm just relieved that I'm finally here. So I look forward to the next session and obviously to the games as well.
Well, Ugandans would want to know probably what took you so long. I mean, they've been here in for a very long time.
I think it's been down to the coaches. Obviously, there's a number of things that have come up in the past. There was a few issues in terms of travelling and stuff, but ultimately it's been down to the coaches. And obviously, coaches have different systems, and I'm grateful that coach has a system that suits my type of style of football. So yeah.
How do you hope to make sure this kind of opportunity counts?
Just come and do what I do best: score goals, win games, and that's it. Yeah.
Well, probably chat with the head coach Mitchell. What kind of conversations are you having? What does he expect from you?
Goals and win games. That's it. My job is simple: score goals and help the team win games. That's what I'm here to do.
Well, the coach says you guys have a lot of doing, especially to improve yourself. How have you found the competition with your fellow teammates?
I relish it, because at the end of the day, the best man wins. So it's not something that you should shy away from. I think it's a privilege to be under that kind of pressure and to be given an opportunity to show what you can produce. So I'm relishing the moment. So I love it. Yeah.
Well, 2 games around the corner, Algeria away from home, Niger here in Uganda, 2023 AFCON qualifiers. So many people have lost hope because there's a big transition in the team. How do you see our chances? Niger, Algeria, Tanzania, 6 games.
I think we've got a very good chance. I've seen the boys that we've got around the squad. There's a good bunch of boys, and I think we've got enough quality to make it through. So people shouldn't worry. From what I've seen so far, I think we've got enough to make it through.
Okay, Ibra, you have grown up playing football.
Yeah.
I've followed you since you were a kid. Now you are here at the national team. How is the feeling, first of all, of being called home to play for the national team?
It's a great feeling, honestly. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I was just waiting for the right opportunity to come up, and I'm grateful that I've got my opportunity now. So now I've got to take it and produce for the team.
Sure. And according to the football you have been playing in the academy until you graduated to the championship and now where you are, Are you seeing any difference in probably the approaches? Are you going to find it hard to adapt to the style of football here?
No, not at all. I think the style of football here is similar to a lot of different styles of football. With me, where I'm fortunate that I've played at all the top 7 levels in England, so it's different styles of football, different kind of formations, tactics and everything. So I have that wealth of experience, which puts me in a good position. So I don't think I'll struggle, to be honest with you.
Are you having problems with the weather and climate?
I'm probably loving it too much. So no, it's not a problem at all.
How easy do you think it would be for you to get onto the first team?
That's down to the coach. Ability-wise, I don't think I'll have any issues at all. But ultimately, it's down to the coach. He has to select the best team, and I'm here to give him the best of myself, and hopefully that should be enough.
Yes, the coach has his expectations. What expectations do you have in the team?
In the team, I expect the team to win games. I think the games that we've got coming up are winnable games. Obviously, they're going to be very tough games, but they're winnable games. So I think we've got a good enough squad to win these games, or at least get a draw. Obviously, Algeria, that's the one that everyone's kind of scratching themselves. But I think we've got a good enough team to get.
Well, you must love the confidence, without a doubt. That's Ibra SseKajja, a product of the Crystal Palace Youth System or Academy, promoted around the same time with Wilfred Zaha, currently playing for Ivory Coast. And he's here to try and score goals. I love the part where he says he believes in his abilities, and if given a chance, he trusts he can do the job.
Yeah, I think he's already setting high standards for himself and promising people that he's capable of scoring goals. Probably he is, but when you look at the fall that is coming from England, I think he has more to prove at the moment, because the age is not on his side. He's already 29, and from a journalistic point of view, I think he has had sort of a disappointing career, because when you come from Crystal Palace in 2011,
he has played in all the 7 divisions.
And at the moment you're in the 6th tier, and then probably people may think that you should have been a little bit higher than you are at the moment. But
the same career has also been hampered by injuries.
Yeah, definitely.
Along the way, you thought at some stage there were major setbacks in probably his path and growth.
And he could have given up, because it would have been easy for him to give up, because if you're in the Premier League at one point and then you are in the 4th tier, that means that you are disappointed somehow. But somehow he has maintained being a footballer, and I was looking at his statistics at Dalwich Hamlet, and he played only 12 games last season out of the 40 they played, and managed to score 5 goals, which is a decent return for a striker. Hopefully he can live up to the expectations that he's already setting at the moment, because we need someone who can score goals. I like the confidence with which he speaks, and that tells you so much about the character that he has as a person, and of course we have been yearning for such characters on the national team. Can he make the cut? Only Mitchell knows.
Are you sure we appreciate such characters?
Because the biggest, some of the problems that we have.
It is what we need,
team,
but
people
powers that be.
I was going to that, because you would expect he's going to be put in a setup which is not highly appreciated by everyone in Uganda. We all know that we are not a ball-playing nation. I'll mention that again. And he's someone who you think would thrive in a team that loves to hold on to the game and then probably feed him more. But all in all, we will have to wait and see if first he makes the cut, because Mitchell clearly said that they are not here to just get into the national team. But if he makes the cut, I like the character and the confidence, and he already knows he has more to prove than Odonkonyera and Luknyomoi.
Well, there's an interesting question. This is Rahmat from Tisasi. He's saying, hello, thanks for the show. What criteria is used to select Uganda Cranes players? He says, seriously, we have good boys and proven and approved by fans. Well, I don't think fans have matter in this, in our local league, but you for professionals not playing seriously. Okay, he says that we keep on summoning professionals that are not playing, yet we have players who play in the league and they are proven. But he wants to know the criteria. Much as I don't agree with his sentiment.
One thing we have to appreciate, we are not in Nigeria or Ghana. So it is not going to be easy for us to have players out there who are Ugandans, who are willing to play for Uganda, and they are so good. That means we have to tap into the lower tiers of most of the big leagues in the world. And if we can come up and pick up on the likes of Luknyomoi and Ibra SseKajja, it is a bonus for us, because the setups they are playing in are way better than what we have here in Uganda. You can look at a Ugandan who can score 12 goals in the Uganda Premier League, but when I compare them and I use my basic knowledge, I think that is basically like 2 goals in the championship. So
yeah, but also playing in the Uganda Premier League game in, game out, and sitting on the bench of a team in Europe are totally 2 different things.
Definitely.
Because the amount of training you go through outside Uganda, the amount of training you go through, the amount of football education you go through is totally different from what you get here. So yes, you're playing game in, game out in your I was going to say Kwara Uganda Premier League.
You're semi-professional.
Amateur. No, we don't. Let's not misuse words here. I mean, yes, you're playing, but you are not at the level that is probably required to deliver at a stage, let me say, like the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. Time and again, we are going to discuss it. Players who play in the local league, CAF found it feeding, rather found it fit to create a league for them, the CHAN. But we have easily qualified for that tournament from our region. We go for the CHAN finals, and we have been that disappointing. So that should tell you that much as you have players who play here,
week in and out,
week out, they are not at the standards that you would require them to deliver at a big stage. Yet you might have players who don't play week in, week out elsewhere, but the amount of training and football education they are going through on a daily basis is much more. I always give the example of Dennis Onyango. It took Dennis Onyango a while for him to command first team football in South Africa. But he would come and wear that Uganda Cranes jersey, and he would always give you outstanding performances.
Yeah, I think I get where you're coming from, and it is true. There is a big difference in terms of preparations, how someone is prepared to play, be it in the lower tier of English football, and how we are prepared here in Uganda. Because I want to pick up on one of the teams that have players on the national team. Let me take an example of Wakiso Giants. Moses Aliro is on the national team, and he has been performing week in and out. But when you try to gauge him in terms of preparation to play football with Ibra SseKajja, I don't think he comes close. What we have to appreciate, the first thing I mentioned, we are not Nigeria or Ghana, we are Uganda. And if we can pick up on those professionals, if I could call them that, and ensure that they're in the setup for a while, probably they're going to elevate their game in wherever they are playing league football from, and then ensure that they take a step higher. And if they can achieve that and in the setup for a while, definitely they will start producing results. For me, I believe.
Well, more of the national team, the Uganda Cranes, today, or by the time we come back here tomorrow, we shall be knowing which opponents Uganda will be playing in the upcoming CHAN qualifiers. The CHAN, what we've been talking about, is a tournament that is played by predominantly locally based players. The CHAN is meant for the players that play in the Uganda Premier League, probably also the big league and the regional league. Uganda has played at the last 5 CHAN finals, only missing out in the inaugural tournament that was hosted. Should have been Ivory Coast in 2009. But since then, Uganda has been qualifying for the CHAN tournament, meaning qualifying for the CHAN tournament has never been a problem, because even the qualifier itself favors Uganda, because you qualify on a regional basis, where you will be given a South Sudan, where you play against Kenya or something like that. The draw is on today. What opponents would you fancy?
I think anyone will get around the region. Like you mentioned, qualification has not been an issue for Uganda. And I remember last time out, we beat up on both Somalia and Burundi on our way to the 2020 finals, which were in Cameroon. We won one, I think, against Somalia 7-2, and then 6-0 against Burundi. So the qualification is never going to be an issue. But from there, we have been underperforming to our expectations. Probably the rest of the continent, the expectations are of Ugandans.
No, but Shaban, let's look at the teams that have won the CHAN tournament. The first winners were DR Congo. At the time, their teams, especially TP Mazembe, were performing very well on the African continent. Teams like Libya have won the CHAN before. Teams like Tunisia have won the CHAN before. Actually, DR Congo have won it twice. Morocco won the last one.
The last two editions.
When you look at the teams and you compare their domestic competitions, I mean, it shouldn't shock you that teams like Nigeria, teams like Ghana, who are looked at as the superpowers of football on the African continent, are not actually faring well in these CHAN finals. I've been at a CHAN tournament in 2016 where Nigeria failed to qualify out of the group stages, and guess who was on the bench? Sunday Odyssey, one of
and if I'm not mistaken, Nigeria
the biggest
was not
names to come out
edition.
of Nigeria. Exactly. So when you say that Uganda's performance has always been disappointing, I wouldn't say so. If you compare
our
us,
expectations,
do you
like ours,
maybe as
not on the continent, because I don't think anyone fears Uganda when it comes to CHAN on the continent. But
apart from the
but we were thinking that at the moment in time when KCCA was putting out decent performances on the continent, that we had it in there to at least make it out of the group stages, and we failed miserably. And I was looking at the last edition. The only thing we did in the last edition is to score one of the best of goals of the tournament. That's Saidi Chene against Togo. But when you go back to how we played and going into that red rubber against Morocco, where you thought that, okay, they don't have any pressure at the moment and probably they can play football, we lost by 5. I think it was 5-2. And I'm not expecting so much going back to the CHAN because our league is not yet on the standards probably that require us, that would see someone go out there and then reach the semi-finals, probably reach the finals or win it all. I don't think we are yet there, but I think we can negotiate out of the group stages. But how do we do that? With Mitchell, I highly doubt we are going to do that. Probably we'll go out there and then grind out 2 0-0 draws because I think we have that in our capacity. But trying to win enough games to get out of the groups with Mitchell as a coach, I think it's going to be very difficult. So for me, my expectations going into this afternoon's draws, I think we'll get the draws that we want to qualify into the group stages of the competition. But from there, I don't see us achieving so much.
Yeah. I hope we stay with Benteke in that up close because I want to read a message here that is very, very interesting, but I would want to read it when Benteke's face is showing on the screen. Someone has sent in a message and they have said, Mr. Benteke looks like Benteke himself.
I think I've been looked alike to so many people. Some guys tell me I look like Lukaku. Then the others tell me LeBron James.
In terms of looks, but not ability. Yeah?
Definitely not ability. But I know I can hit that ball like Benteke does. And probably Lukaku. But the basketball, I'm not any good at it.
Well, away from that, looking at the Africa Women Volleyball Club Championships are going on in Tunisia. Today afternoon, Ndeje Elites, the team that is representing Uganda, are going to be taking on Pipeline. Pipeline are 6-time champions from Kenya. The captain, Belinda Jepkirui, did talk to us through Emanzi, our colleagues who's in Tunisia, about how they are going to approach this game against Pipeline. Let's listen.
That match, it's costed us a lot because now when you look at the opponent we are going to play next, she's not an easy one. But that doesn't stop us from fighting back. We can still do something, I believe, because I trust in the players I have. As we are going to play that game, we need to receive more and defend more because they have hard hitters. And we have to serve them hard because that is the only weapon we've got now. For the starters, of course, for them it is really hard But for us who have been here, yeah, it's the only way to go, because you cannot come for such a championship and you expect something which is simple. Whoever is here is a champion, so you have to come knowing you are going to meet champions and the tournament is hard.
Well, indeed, the tournament has been that hard for them. She talks about knowing the kind of opposition they are going to play against, and they just need to improve their game. Yes, you will have different abilities, but the game is governed by majorly two attributes. Your ability to serve the opponent out of the game, but also your ability to defend, especially on the net and backcourt. You don't expect Tandeja to give you that best, especially on the net, but trust me, they have what it takes to make sure that they frustrate you on their backcourt defense. They win today, they qualify for the quarterfinals.
Clearly the best in the country, because they won the two available championships, but they are facing a whole lot difference in quality when you see the opposition that they are coming up against. And clearly you mentioned that they literally stand zero chances, but I think they go into it and they might be thinking that probably we could cause an upset or win a set in this one, and then see where we go from there. Because I was watching that game against KCB, and I thought that they had a good chance, despite the fact that they lost the first set, but it was in the second where everything fell apart. The reception was so poor, and they should have worked hard on it, because against Pipeline, if they continue receiving the way they received in the second set against KCB, and then probably they don't stand any chance like you mentioned. But all in all, hopefully they gather enough experience from there, and if they go back next time, try and win on a few games. I'm saying all that, putting into consideration the fact that they may be eliminated today.
Well, of course, the winner between Deje and Pipeline will play against the winner between Fab from Cameroon. Fab from Cameroon are playing against National Alcohol and Liquor. Yes, that team is from Ethiopia, and that is the name of the team. National Alcohol and Liquor are playing against Fab. The winner of that match will play against the winner between Ndeje and Pipeline. Now, the losers of those two games will also play against each other in the classification games. Let's listen to what Emanzi has to say about this game. After listening to what Emanzi has to say, we shall go out for a breather, then return to speak basketball and your European football.
Let's go. So Ndeje Elites will be taking on Kenya Pipeline in the round of 16 today. They will have to try and figure out a way of beating the Kenyan team to go to the quarterfinals. Before Ndeje left Kampala, the target was to get into the final 8 to match the performance that they put up in 2013 when they played in Madagascar on their debut on the continent. So for that to come to light, they've got to win today's game and progress to the quarterfinals, and then from there they can see what happens. But a lot has to change if Ndeje are going to have a chance against Kenya Pipeline. If you look at how they played in their last game against another Kenyan opposition, that is KCB, there was terrible reception, especially in the second and third set, and that cannot happen against Pipeline. If they're going to win the game, they've got to work on that. They've got to serve better, and I think almost everyone on the team agrees in unison that the reception and the service have got to be perfect for the team to have a chance against Kenya. When you serve well, you give your opponent something to think about. You can eliminate the middle game, because once the reception is good, it means that the set has the chance to decide on what to do. But if the reception is not that good, then the options are a bit limited. So I think for me, in my opinion, for Ndeje to stand a chance, they've got to serve well and try to eliminate the middle game from Kenya, and then you deal with the hard hitters from outside. But once they have the two working at the same time, they are quite unstoppable. But well, Ndeje believe that they've got a chance, and the game is on our hands. We'll have to wait and see if they can win to progress to the quarterfinals.
Well, Emanzi said it, and Ndeje believe they have a chance, and why not believe? I mean, you go out there, you just have to try your level best and get the best results. So we're going out for a breather. We'll return, we'll look at the Basketball Africa League and what transpired in Europe last night.